Okay, we're live on Facebook.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our 32nd forum online. The Foreign Correspondents Association of the Philippines. Welcome again, Mayor Isko Moreno. Thank you for talking to us. Since assuming leadership of the nation's capital 2 years ago, Yorme, as is now colloquially called, has transformed parts of the traffic-choked and heavily polluted city that have been decaying for decades into clean, organized, and attractive spaces. It's carving a political name for accomplishing the unthinkable, putting the decades-old Divisoria Market mayhem into order, transforming the miserable Manila Zoo, bringing the notorious Pasig River back to life, and reclaiming the charm of Old Manila. The coronavirus pandemic, however, has emerged as an ultimate test for the mayor, who presides over a COVID-19 epicenter and helped secure the seat of power as the president. Faced with one of the worst outbreaks in the country, crumbling infrastructures, and law and order problems, the 45-year-old Moreno still consistently ranks among the best performing local chief executives in a country where many mayors have been tarnished by all imaginable atrocities. Mayor Isko today will discuss Manila's coronavirus crisis and the role of local governments in dealing with the pandemic in the Philippines, among many other issues as well. The controversial White Sand Beach project in Manila Bay, his closure of Chinese stores, and what lies ahead in his political future. Good afternoon, Mayor. Thank you for talking to us.
Thank you, Jamela, at yung mga kind words ninyo. Thank you very much. I'm turning 46 in a matter of few weeks.
Still very young po. Still very young.
Awa naman ng Diyos. Nakakaraos naman. And thank you for this opportunity on behalf of the people of Manila. I am honored and grateful to your association to be given such space in your association's regular meeting. No? Maraming salamat sa pagkakataon na ito. But again, I hope I'll meet your expectations and try to answer your questions truthfully and honestly as we go along the way with the discussion.
All right. I understand, Mayor, you have a presentation.
Okay. Now, anyway, katulad na nasabi ni Jamela kanina about the COVID, let me share to you at least you have something to say, visual of what's the real picture of Manila. Okay, yung first slide, makisuyo nga. Sige, itong COVID-19 is based on Code M plan. No? Code M, ibig sabihin, contain, delay, and mitigate. Contain and delay the infection. No? Because infection is inevitable. It's now called pandemic. So the least thing that the government can do is to really contain and buy time and save as many as possible. Give proper, ample, enough health care sa mga infected. But as of today, since the day one, we have already accumulated 9,058 based on MHD's record. And maaring may confusion sa ibang numero pagdating sa ibang mga ahensya ng gobyerno, but this is an honest, in our own little way, and with basis, factual basis. Because you might see different numbers, but this is a truthful number based on Manila Health Department records and submitted to us. Now, nalulungkot tayo, no? There's about 351 already succumbed from this dreadful disease. Nakikiramay tayo sa pamilya ng mga yumao. But on the other hand, no, there is already 7,827. But while it is true that there is high recovery for some reason, which I will explain a little later, where is the basis of the recoveries, pinaghugutan niya, no? But we still have 880 active cases in the city of Manila. Kaya bago tayo magpatuloy, nais kong ipaalala sa inyo, alam ko mahirap maging media. You have to sometimes go to the field of a situation, but you have to take care of yourself. Please take extra good care or precautions while you're visiting Manila, because there's still 880 active cases. Now, in the next slide, you will see yung aming map, no? Ay yung graph, no? You can see there the death, no? Medyo plateau, but still I always value life, no? Every single life that we can save is a baby step to success. But as I have said, if infection is inevitable and there is no cure about it, then that is also inevitable. Pero pinipilit natin mapagbago, no? At mapagbuti. At makikita ninyo yung red line, no, when we started it, talagang nangibabaw. This is the active cases. This is a graph of since day one of infection and as of today. And as we progress through ECQ, MECQ, GCQ, MECQ, GCQ, or through for the past so many months, having practical knowledge, especially our doctors and nurses, on how to address infected individual with COVID-19, nagkaroon ng mabuting epekto. No? Makikita nyo, in the middle of June, talagang nag-spike yung ating recovery at umalagwan na siya ng todo-todo. No? Natutuwa kami. Kakaroon ng mga magandang epekto yung aming simpleng aksyon in our own little way. And as you can see, while it is true that there is 9,000 cumulative cases and there's 880, you can see also an honest graph of trajectory. No? While mukhang we are flattening the curve, but still, in my personal point of view, no, there is still danger. Because one case is already dangerous. More than one is more dangerous. Kaya napaka-konserbatibo pa rin ang aming approach. Kahit na medyo nagpa-plateau, no? Nasusustain. And hopefully, ganun nga ang mangyari sa mga darating pang buwan. Especially, we're going to practice some tradition and customs as Filipinos in the country because of the dates or holidays, stated dates. Yan. And at susunod dyan, makikita ninyo, no, we continue to follow the world standard of testing and DOH gold standard. No? Nung una, wala kaming facility. So that's why hindi na kami huminto sa public hospital from national government alone. So what we did, we partnered with private hospitals who has a capacity to test through gold standard. Then along the way, salamat sa DOH, we are one of I think 23, no, Cesar, sa buong Pilipinas. 23 machines provided to the local government unit. And as of today, we have tested 24,680 na ating RT-PCR. At unti-unti magpi-fade away, no? Dito ko na i-broadcast. Unti-unti magpi-fade away yung ibang makikita mong ospital dyan at laboratory sa aming resources. Kasi as of today, maraming salamat sa Ayala Foundation, Ayala Corporation, o MDC and Mr. Subel, no, ginagawa po ongoing ang construction ng additional laboratory namin to address maybe and hopefully not future demand of testing because of the season, no? Itong Christmas season or holidays in the coming months. Because we are also fortunate and grateful to DBM and DOH again. We acquired for free 2 Sansuri machine. So it means if we have a capacity to test about 40, 90, and sometimes 250, no, a day, we can raise the bar of test, gold standard testing. Aabutin namin yung 1,000 benchmark na gusto naming ma-reach as a goal. 1,000 gold standard testing by the end of September. Kasi maswerte kami sa Ayala Corporation na sila, MDC kasi ang gagawa ng laboratory, yung construction, ongoing ngayon. Imbis na singiling kami ng 7.8 million pesos, nung humihingi ako ng tawad o discount, ang binigay ni Mr. Subel ay 100% discount. Kaya we are very grateful to them. So we will continue to give this for free. But let me just put it on record. As you can see in the slide, there are private hospitals. We shoulder the cost of this. And it's quite expensive. Yes, it's quite expensive. But this is our own little way as local government unit, no, to cushion the effect sa kabuhayan ng tao. Kasi mahal din ang testing, walang trabaho, walang kita, gastos na naman sa testing. So we wanted the government, in this case, local government, to intervene or at least cushion the cost to any individual who might or probable or suspected COVID-19. Pero yan, dadaus-dus yan, no? Magpe-fade away yan. Kasi lalaki ang kapasidad namin. The next slide, this is now our positivity rate. No? Nakikita nyo sa screen, no? Yung daily attack rate natin is 2.2, almost 2.5 every 100K. No? And we have about, for the past 2 weeks, at salamat sa Diyos, sana magtuloy-tuloy na ito, negative 5.64, no? Yung growth rate natin. And 18% positivity rate. Then, ito naman yung inadapt ko. This is a concept made by US government through Dr. Fauci, no? Ng CDC. I adopted this concept. This is what they call in the States na zero prevalence or zero surveillance. Ito yung IgG testing. Now, nung una gumagamit kami ng rapid testing bago namin isubmit sa gold standard testing kasi mas mura. But it turned out, maraming salamat to Abbott. Abbott is an international, multinational company. They have this machine, Architect 1000 and Architect 2000. This machine can test, this is an antibody test, or IgG, positive ang hinahanap dito. Ano yung logic nyo, no? Well, one, scientifically and audited by some universities in the United States also, that 99.6 specificity and 100% sensitivity. So it's almost gold standard. But this is not how we add to the numbers of positive, confirmed positive. This is a surveillance wherein IgG, ito yung nakikita mo yung heat map of infection, the way it was done by Dr. Fauci in some municipalities or town in America. So dito nakikita namin, na-check namin kung yung isang barangay na may confirmed positive, at gaano nakalayo yung na-reach niya. So this is one way of surveying or surveillance of the infection in the community. At the same manner, no, alam naman natin, we know for a fact that nowadays we encourage for business to open because the economy is already hurting, and we know it already. Some of us are were laid off or natanggalan ng trabaho. Now, nung nag-open tayo ng business, there is what you call minimum health standard being required to our employees. Ang logic ko, kaya ko siya ibinigay ng libre. One, mataas ang credibility ng testing because it's through machine. No? Pangalawa, lugi na nga yung negosyo. Nire-require siyang i-test yung mga tao niya bago bumalik sa trabaho. Kawawa naman yung negosyante. At the same manner, sa kabilang banda, yung empleyado, 4 months nang walang trabaho, 3 months nang walang trabaho. Nung babalik niya sa trabaho, gastos na naman siya for testing. So we wanted to go in between, no? To shoulder the cost. And we tried to made it available for free, both the gold standard and this serology testing. And third reason is napansin namin mataas na yung COVID anxiety ng tao, yung COVID fatigue ba. So we wanted to give peace of mind sa ating mga mamamayan. Kaya sa awa naman ng Diyos, alam mo, do sa survey form na aming pinapipila pa sa mga nagtetest, ay halos 80% ang sinagot, kaya sila nagpa-test dahil peace of mind. And I'm happy to be of service. And it was made available even to non-Manilans. And the reason behind, again, and we all agree about this, that this crisis of ours is a universal problem. So we wanted to approach it inclusively, na parang trying to be man for others. So, and we were asked if we can sustain it. Yes, it's quite a heavy question, Na sabi ko, yes, we'll try. O basta sabi ko, hanggat kaya, we will give it for free. At least merong isang valid guide for everybody through this type of testing. So meron tayong drive-thru, meron tayong walk-in, at meron tayong what we call saturation drive. Saturation drive, on the right side of the screen, ito yung pinupuntahan natin, yung mga barangay na concern natin. Sabihin, may high infection, may high confirmed infection sa kanilang lugar. So as of today, sa awa ng Diyos, nakakasurvive naman. Thanks to our donors, alam nyo, natutuwa po ako even before pandemic, ang dami ng donors ng Manila. During the pandemic ngayon, at lalo na itong pre-testing, by more than 20 million pesos ang cash ang na-receive namin. Kaya we can afford to give it for free. And we will continue to give it for free as long as it is needed. Next, please. Okay. This is quite interesting. And this is my daily thing. Kasi siyempre, you're running 6 hospitals and about 2.4 million people. So I'm trying to get some data daily na madaling madesisyonan kaagad at makita yung clear picture ng infection. And we are very grateful so far to the people of Manila. Dahil sa kanilang pagdidisiplina at pagtugon sa panawagan ng national government and local government. Ang aming occupancy or load capacity napababa na po namin. Makikita nyo, meron kaming 6 na ospital. We made 326 bed capacity and 47% as of today, from 70-80% on a regular day during the ECQ. Now, also we build, I think, modesty aside, we were the first local government unit to put up MIDCC and quarantine facility. And we continue to build even in the low rate of infection nung wala pang kailangan. because we're trying to look at it in a long haul. Kaya we keep on building. So marami kaming quarantine facility. 64%, and COVID suspect quarantine facility, ito naman po ay 11%. Next. Okay, ito po yung action taken since noong day one. No? Immediately, I created the COVID-19 task force, which is based on Code M. No? Code M. Contain, delay, and mitigate. Tapos, yung ating Manila Health Department, naggawa kagad tayo ng MEYOK. Kasi maraming confusion about how to address the infection in their barangay. At saka, maalala nyo ang siyudad ng Maynila, ang kauna-una nagpasa ng batas sa buong mundo, yung anti-discrimination. Kasi nahuli namin yan sa MEYOK. No? Kasi maraming tumatawag, they are being discriminated because pinagdududahan sila ng may COVID. No? At hindi mo naman masisi ang tao, siyempre may kaba pa ng una. But as we progress, we put an end to those discrimination, including our health workers, na talagang kakasuhan namin yung mga individual. Then, again, not only 6 hospitals na meron, fortunately, ang lungsod ng Maynila, we have also 54 health centers. Naka-create tayo ng 63 teams, composed of 3 to 5 persons per team. Ito yung tracing natin. At talagang very challenging kapag na-destino ang isang ating tracer sa isang barangay na napakalaki or high density. No? Tapos itong MIDCC, ito yung unang-una. I am grateful to the British government, no? Especially to Ambassador Bruce, na nung ako'y nagpunta sa London, upon knowing what transpired in Wuhan, China, I immediately asked them, and I was fortunate to meet with the individuals, leaders who will confront and address and lead the fight against pandemic, this COVID coronavirus in London. No? Tapos nagkaroon tayong digital health survey. Ito naman yung tawag natin from the groundswell, from the bottom up. We empower the people to participate and self-check. Then we call them from time to time. Then designated COVID beds. Ito, mahalaga ito. You know, yung hospital natin is a regular hospital. Kung meron man tayong isolation facilities, chances are maliit ang porsyento. Because it became a pandemic and there's so much demand. Yung ating mga hospital, kinonvert talaga natin by putting up more protective infrastructure within the hospital. Tapos, yung quarantine facility natin, nakapag-build tayong 3, at yung establishment of our own RT-PCR. 2, kasi medyo dinudugo na kami. Medyo masakit din yun dahil bayad kami ng bayad by tens of millions of pesos. But I'm happy to be of service to anybody, just to give them assurance na hindi sila infected at guarantee of assistance if they get infected. Next, please. Now, ito naman yung maaring isa sa pwede nating tingnan kung bakit biglang bumulusok yung recovery. Talagang nag-fly siya ng gusto. In fact, I have a side story for you. There is this more than 80-year-old man who got infected in the early stage, and after 44 days, he survived. Na-intubate pa yun. So, what we did, after knowing, siyempre, nung alam mo naman, hindi naman kaila sa buong mundo, sa buong mundo, na wala talaga may alam on how to approach coronavirus. But a month or 2, nung nagkakaroon na ng linaw, at nalaman na rin namin yung mga gamit na pwedeng bilhin, katulad ng mga private hospital sa Pilipinas at mga gamit na ginagamit sa ibang bansa na nagbibigay ng maayos, magandang resulta sa recovery. Ito po. Kaya bumili kami ng mga gamit. In fact, we bought 8 digital mobile X-ray. Why is it very particular, no? Yung di ho ba ilang palapag yung mga hospital namin. And usually yung aming X-ray machine is located in the ground floor. So can you imagine that an infected person will walk up and down, and the probability and possibility of makahawa siya ay malaki. So that's why we bought a digital mobile X-ray. Ito yung pinapasok sa loob. It's a machine, an X-ray, kasi kailangan niya ng mga pasyente. Yung high flow oxygenator, kasi kailangan ng regular and constant oxygen. Mechanical ventilator, saturation machine, HEPA filter para sa ating mga health workers, rehabilitations of elevators. Diyos ko, por Diyos por Santo. Totoo po yan. Pati elevator. Kasi talagang may separate elevator kami para sa incoming patient. Then, we increase from 30%, that minimum requirement sa amin, we increase our allotment to 35%. No? Then, noong nagkakaroon ng issue, ang mga doktor nahihirapan, napapagod, bago pa dumating yon, at kung mapapansin ninyo, no, 6 yung ospital namin na pag-aari ng lungsod. Mas less ang stress ng aming mga doctors and nurses. Pagod sila, no question. Stressful, no question. Anxiety, no question, but not as much as the others. Because what we did, not only putting more equipments, we put more professional capacity or human resources. Inaugment namin. We keep on hiring doctors and nurses, medical practitioner or radiologists, medtech, medtech, tinira namin ng tinira yun. Talaga nag-hire kami na nag-hire. Para yung duty time, akma, hindi sila ma-over duty. Kasi alam mo naman, pag pagod, puyat, hirap, anxiety, chances are, baka magkamali, mahawa naman sila, which nangyayari yun. Then, we keep on continuing to protect our doctors by providing more PPEs. Despite at the beginning, medyo nagkaroon ng challenge sa PPE, but your city government augmented this type of protection for our medical frontliners. And some privileges. In fact, recently, your city government approved the hazard pay. Okay. And let me be clear about this. Even without the directive of DBM to provide the local government unit, sabi doon the local government unit is encouraged to provide hazard pay to those na nag-duty noong March 17 to May 31. No? Subject to availability of funds, sabi ng DBM. So, sa national, walang problema. Pero pag sa local, nagka-problema. Para naman, hindi naman maargabyado, naghanap kami ng pera. At nakakita naman kami, ngayon, naisabatas na, ngayon may bibigay na additional. But, just for the record, our medical frontliners, even without the pandemic, nung Vice Mayor ako, at si Vice Mayor Hani Lacuna ay kunsehal, nakapagpasa naman kami dati ng batas na may regular hazard pay ang ating mga medical frontliners. But the thing is, we have to accept the fact that hindi lang naman medical frontliners ang frontliners. Meron din tayong mga ni-utilize na mga tao sa gobyerno para tuloy-tuloy ang takbo ng gobyerno. And they deserve the hazard pay, which we did. Tapos, ito po ang pinaka-recent about a month ago. No? Thanks to US government because they've been sharing a lot of journals, medical journals, and yung mga, anong tawag doon, mga good practice na nababasa namin. And one of those is mga medicine. Medicine not to cure, but to help positive patient and to raise the probability of recovering. And one of those that are being utilized is remdesivir. No? Now, when I heard about it and read about it, I immediately asked. But the problem at that time, there is so much demand in United States and Canada. No? At ang may-ari niyan ay Gilead. No? But Gilead, after a while, allowed other pharmaceutical company to print remdesivir. And fortunately, there's this one company in the United States who has partnered and a branch here in the Philippines notified us that there is an incoming remdesivir. Remdesivir, if you can research it later on, helps about at least 35%. It's, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's a medicine or vaccine for Ebola. But he has a broad spectrum in killing or fighting virus, broad spectrum sa mga virus. At isa doon, tinatamaan niya yung coronavirus. So it helps. In fact, we've been carefully putting and collating our data to those who are receiving remdesivir. Maganda. Ayoko lang pangunahan. Ayoko pangunahan yung kabayo. But we will report it to you. But so far, I can honestly say a lot of people are doing good receiving remdesivir. But remdesivir, we acquired it 2,000 vials. No? And awa ng Diyos, ipinagpapasalamat ko sa Philippine FDA at DOH. Kasi ang remdesivir is a controlled product. No? It has to pass through some measures. But this is a US FDA approved. So, merong isang rule sa FDA Philippines, yung what we call CSP, no? Compassionate Special Permit. Pero ang ginagrant dyan, institution. So, our 6 hospital, I asked the director to write a letter and we were given approval. So, that's why we've been utilizing remdesivir. Now, again and again, to be universally and inclusively approaching this pandemic, we offer this remdesivir not only for ourselves, for our constituents, even in the private sector or private hospitals or anybody. We lend them remdesivir because the logic again, what is the use of remdesivir if it is in our pharmacy? If we can save lives, then so be it. So we lend some remdesivir to other private hospitals with regard to their patients and national government hospitals. Now, again, through this consistent effort and matatapang na loob ng mga doktor ko at nurses, lalo na ng aking direktor, mga direktor sa ospital, si Dr. Padilla na Santa Ana, nakuha namin ng atensyon ng national government na yung Santa Ana ngayon ay parang doon pinapractice yung mga clinical trial ng katulad ng Avigan. Yung Avigan is a Japanese medicine also that helps the patients, COVID patients, at doon ay tinitest, including our world-famous Lagundi. No? So, tinitest. Now, after all these things, and we will continue to innovate, we will continue to approach this conservatively, but we are looking forward. And I am really optimistic, may awa ang Diyos, that someday, somehow, vaccine will be made available. No? But before that thing to happen, we, in our own little way, as local government unit, we already appropriated and saved and put it in the bank about 200 million pesos for future purchase of vaccine. Why did I arrive with this idea? Kasi one way or another, there will be vaccine. It is a question of time. But I am fortunate also through some effort of embassies or ambassadors, no, to talk to a multinational pharmaceutical company known worldwide. And I was informed, and I am not allowed to say it to you because I made a commitment, parang naka-virtual NDA ako sa kanila, no? But I was given some facts on kung nasaan na sila. And I think Moderna in US and Covox in London, or AstraZeneca is leading the way. No, they are now in the clinical trial, and hopefully, may awa ang Diyos, sana by December dumating na yan. At kung sakali man, at the very worst situation, the way I understand it, and I may be wrong, but I'm just hopeful by the end of March. No? But be that as it may, when the time comes, meron pong pera na nilaan, nakatabi, literal na pera, na 200 million pesos for the people of Manila for the vaccine. Next, please. Ayun na. Sorry marami pa kami kukwento, pero at least may basic visual na kayo ng situation.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for your presentation, and I'm sure a lot of members of Focap will be asking you more about the pandemic. I'll be moderating the second part of the forum. We have a new setup where we ask the first 3 questions go to the members of Focap, then we allow 2 members of the local media to ask a question. And for any associate member who wants to ask a question, you can send me your question, and I will be the one to ask Mayor Isko those questions you sent me. May we ask everyone to please keep your phones on silent mode and mute your Zoom accounts so that we do have a clear audio copy of the interview today. So we'll start. Who would like to ask the first question? Okay, Sarah Gomez Armas of Ayancha FA will ask.
Hello.
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 Hi,
Hello, Mayor.
Sarah.
Hello. Thank you for participating in our forum. Sir, I would like to ask about the economic impact of the lockdowns in Metro Manila. With the long lockdown in the whole Metro Manila, one of the longest in the world probably, and the quarantine measures have had a big impact in economy. So I would like to know, when do you think that Manila City might recover, since we know that in Manila City we have very poor neighborhoods. We have Paseco, we have Tondo district where very poor communities live there. And I've been doing stories there, and people are saying that they are more afraid of dying of hunger rather than COVID. So how Manila City can help that the poorest communities living in Metro Manila?
Okay. One, it's a given fact. Not only Manila, not only Philippines, but the entire world is suffering economically. A lot of industries were shut down, and all other things. That is a fact. This is one of the effects. That's why when we made this plan, the letter M, the mitigation portion, is aggressively fighting COVID. At the same time, we keep on voting for GCQ. No? Kasi the logic is we wanted to open the business now. And we encourage people to go back to business. As I have said, if I remember it right, about 2 weeks ago, and I said, we must learn how to live with COVID-19, and at the same time, we must learn how to go back to work safely. Now, having said that, we've been doing some measures in our own little way, more than encouraging to open the business. We had a campaign nowadays. It's been ongoing for the past 2 weeks. Buy local, eat local. And we have also another campaign of what we call Restaurant Weeks. These are small steps, baby steps, na magkaroon to generate sales and income for businesses, small businesses, because this will generate more jobs. And we've been losing jobs. And that's why we wanted the business to open as many as possible. But with some level of discipline among ourselves, the consumer, the workers, and the businessmen. So this is now our second way of, opening up to normalization. And of course, those who are living in Baseco and in Tondo, they continue to benefit in our policy. Like, for example, let's just say most of them are benefiting from night market. Yung mga what we call tricycle driver, sidecar boy, cargador, vendor during the night market. And it was open since day one. Even in the ACQ, it is the only portion of the city were excluded to continue the commerce, the trade in the area during nighttime. And the port is in full operation. And stevedores and port workers are living also in Parola and Baseco. So while it is true that there is hardship, but some industry and this community continue to benefit from us being more, how can I put that in right perspective, more lenient or open to business. But we are very sure about our policy in being strict in implementing minimum health standards. So that is our own little effort to bring back jobs. And in our own little way as a city government to stimulate businesses or job generation, we've been providing masks. And before, we are buying, but for the past 3 months, we are making our own mask. This is a washable mask that we duplicated the idea. I think it's from Czechoslovakia. Nakalimutan ko lang but most likely it's in the European country. It's Czechoslovakia. Nagkaroon sila ng, they create their own washable mask. So what we did, we bought ano yung tela sa English? Basta tela.
Yeah, tela. I understand tela. It's the same in Spanish.
Dinudugo na ilong ko sa'yo.
We say tela in Spanish too. I understand.
Okay. So what we did is to buy this tela, then create a design, then we made it available to the community. I'm sobrang happy. I'm really happy when I sign salary every now and then. Hundreds of families are benefiting from this program. 4,900 a week, 10,000 a week, 15,000 a week, and there are some stories na nakatutuwa. But one thing is good, they are creating and earning from the mask. At the same time, they're the one using it. So as of today, we have distributed 881,000 washable masks, and so on and so forth. So the next approach is, how can we cushion the end game for the businesses, their obligation to the city, business tax, real property tax. We are now on the process of studying to lower again, although we have to accept the fact we need money. But I'm an optimistic guy. I have to be optimistic. I came from nothing. Anything above zero is positive. We are now creating another law, studying another law on lowering business tax and real property tax, so that we can at least mitigate the continuous bad effect of this pandemic to economic situation of families and businesses.
Thank you so much, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor, I'll be the one to ask the next question.
Sure.
We move forward to yung question po tungkol dun sa sand sa Manila Bay. Something that's really generating a lot of interest and reaction.
Thank you. Thank you for your interest in Manila.
Mayor, you've asked for clarification from the DNR secretary about the reported health hazards of the implementation of or the
Yes.
construction of that particular part of Manila Bay. What do you make of the? I don't know if you've written a letter to Secretary and Simatu, and has he given a response? At the beginning of
Okay. Again and again, to be consistent with our position. Thank you very much, DNR, for creating a facility that will protect the water of Manila Bay, portion of Manila. Now, I'm always specific about that word, portion of Manila, because when the Supreme Court decided and made it mandatory to all local government units, it speaks of the entire Manila Bay area. Okay, that includes provinces and other LGUs surrounding the entire cove of Manila Bay. So we are very grateful because when I assume, alam nyo naman, dugyot na dugyot ang Maynila, nangabulok talaga kami. It's a daily sight that Manila Bay, portion of Pros Boulevard within our jurisdiction, full of solid waste materials. That's why we are grateful, because there is a finding that there's so much millions of microbes against per liter, something to that effect. No? The scientists about the fecal and all other things. So nung nilagyan nyo ng binigyan diin nyo ni President Duterte na tugunan na yon once and for all after 20 years of fight to get the attention of the local government unit, natuldukan. So that's why we are very grateful. Now, with regard to the safety, which is a valid concern, a very valid concern by some sensible individual about the safety with regard to the sun. Again and again, until proven otherwise that it is harmful. Kumbaga sa amin, binigyan na kami ng libre, dapat it is the local government unit who will do it. Then here we are, we're having a facility for the next generation to have a clean Manila Bay water portion of Manila. Now, so with regard to the sun, nung sinabi namin, basta hindi siya napapatunayan na makapaminsala, we continue to support the rehabilitation. Now, pero may proviso yon, di ba? Maliwanag naman na sinabi ko. Kung hindi napapatunayan. Kaso, the day after that, Dr. Berhere, I think in a press conference, made some comments as a doctor and as a member of the government. Sabi ko, uy, teka, this needs our attention. Kasi sabi niya, yun daw, dolomite ay makapaminsala sa kalusugan. Tama naman. Sabi niya, pag nalanghap without proper gear, ito'y makapaminsala. It got my attention. Then I wrote a letter to DNR, inquiring about the said statement, because I have an obligation to protect the health of the general public. Then I received text messages na shinare ko kanina doon kila Marichu Villanueva during the press con. Yung sinabi ng Mines and Geosciences Bureau, and if I may share it to you, teka lang, sana ba yung kanina? Ang sinasabi niya, basta ganito ang sinabi ng Geosciences, pag yung pulbo, talagang delikado. Pero yung nilagay daw sa Manila Bay, is dapat pag 10 o 50 microns, delikado. Pero ang nilagay yata nila is 2,000 o 5,000. I forgot the measurement, but it's 100 times bigger. So hindi siya magsususpend sa hangin. The same that they use in Monaco, yung beach doon, yung man-made beach doon, o yung sa mga hotel, sa Plantation Bay, sa Sheraton Bay, or maybe the same thing with Boracay, no? So sabi ko, kung walang ganung findings, then how can we act on something that is not illegal, that is not harmful? Because, Jamela, your opinion is as good as my opinion. We are no scientists, no expert. Now, if there is a claim, then we should take a look at it, and let the national government, for that matter, and DNR, for that matter, knows it better than me. Because kung talagang magkakaroon ng kapabayaan at mapapatunayan, mas doble-doble ang liability kung sakasakali ng DNR. Why? Sila yung supposed to be itinalaga ng batas na mangalaga sa kaligtasan ng ating kapaligiran. Sila pa nakapamerwisyo. But that is remain to be seen. Di ba? Wala naman kasing pruweba. Marami lang mga kwento-kwento, kanya-kanyang opinion, pero pagka yan ng mga nagsabog-sabog na yung ating isipan at walang nagtutuldok sa usapan, mahirap naman. No? This is a noble approach. Once and for all, after 20 long years of fighting mga environmentalists, talagang matutuwa dahil halos ipinaglaban nila yan na kayo mga lokal na pamahalaan, national government, linisin ninyo. And nobody listened to them until the Supreme Court ordered it. Di ba? So, now, let me share it to Focap. Ito, official na naman to. Official na naman to. Ngayon lang, nakararating lang kasi pinareceive ko. And I think this is the proper way of doing it. This is what you call the, tawag dyan na due diligence ba tawag doon?
Yes.
You inquire. I already wrote a letter and let me share it to you. Sorry nakakarating kasi I have to need the received copy. I wrote a letter to Secretary Duque with regard to the same about the comment of Dr. Berhere, so that we will be enlightened and we will be guided. Now, if you tell me, just for the sake of conversation here, sabihin mo sa akin, alam mo, sinabi ng ahensya ng DOH, mapakapamisala yan. Masama yan sa kalusugan ng tao. Bukas sa bukas, arrestuin ko lahat sila. No ifs, no buts. But we cannot just act harshly on something that, teka muna, hindi naman tayo kanya-kanya dito, may pamahalaan. And we must follow in a civilized world, in a civilized time, we must follow law and order. There must be certainty with our policies and action. Yun ang posisyon namin dyan. But I'm with you. Teach me, help me, na ito'y mapatunayang masama. Di ba? Then, we can resolve it. We will act on the matter officially. Because it will be quite unfair to anybody who works in the government na madali naman mag-akusa madali magbintang but it has to be proven. This is while we enjoy democracy and I respect opinion, and I hope they do the same, until somebody, an agency or a particular probably court or probably department or mga taong itinalaga makapagbibigay ng tuldok sa isyong ito, we'll be happy to hear them and follow.
Okay.
But rest assured, we'll take care. We always, nasa radar namin yung health issue. Rest assured.
Okay. All right. Thank you po for answering my question, Mayor. The next question will be coming from Ellen. Ellen.
Yes. Good afternoon, Mayor. I'm Ellen Cruz from Tokyo Shimbun, from Japanese newspaper. No, I'm just wondering about the problems of the jeepney drivers, and And the fate, actually, I'm more concerned about the fate of jeepneys in Manila and elsewhere. But jeepney has also become a very strong symbol of Manila. So is it really on the wane? Is it really is it fading? Because jeepney has been a very yeah, as I said, a symbol. I will tell you a story. My former bureau chief, the Japanese bureau chief, he was so enamored with the jeepney that he said, if I can bring a jeepney to Japan, I will bring one.
If the
Yeah, he
regulatory
said.
office
Yeah.
of Japan will allow it.
So what's Manila's take on that?
Okay, one, let's be honest about the situation. No, jeep to fly to go to a particular route is under the direct supervision of LTFRB. No? Sila talaga ang policy maker about jeep regulation. Now, yung kanilang what they call ano yung pagbabago, yung modernization plan, at the end of the day, it's up to them. It's really up to them to answer that. Ano ang naghihintay na kinabukasan sa ating mga jeepney driver? So, kami naman, nakita ninyo naman, noong binigay sa lokal na pamahalaan, ito, particular lang itong pandemya to, noong particular itong pandemya to, nung binigay sa lokal na pamahalaan, i-allow yung mga tricycle sa pedicab, I allowed it. Pero jeep is under the LTFRB. Medyo, we don't want to cross that line. But, modesty aside, if you have some friends, jeepney drivers or association, you ask them, modesty aside, Manila lang ang nagbigay sa kanila ng ayuda halos buwan-buwan, lalo na sa kasagsagan ng pandemya, nung walang mga trabaho at pasok. Alam mo bakit? Dati akong sidecar boy eh. Alam ko yung pakiramdam nung wala kang biyahe. Alam mo yung namamasada ka. Pag uminto yung pasada mo, hinto na rin yung pagkain mo. Ang buhay ng jeepney driver ay parang buhay ng tricycle driver at pedicab driver. Pag uminto ang pasada, hinto ang pagkain. So sabi ko sa mga tao, you have to address this every month. We have to give them something that will last for 1 month until they are allowed to fly again or to serve the public again. Hindi naman sa pagbubuhat ng bangko, you can ask them that. Talagang mahirap ang naging buhay niya nitong for the past 5 months.
Yes, sir, but is it only the concern of the LTFRB? I think local governments have to have a strong say on that.
Wala po. Kung regulasyon ng jeep, technically, wala po. Pero kung patungkol sa biyahe, ruta, kailangan nilang konsultahin ang lokal na pamahalaan. Ruta, for them to be allowed LTFRB. Yung ruta, local government.
Because the modern jeepney, which is being running now in the metropolis, is not really a jeepney. It's like a bus.
Basta ganito, ayaw kong mamatay ang jeepney. Okay? That is for sure. But at the same manner, our jeepney drivers and operators must adapt in protecting our environment. Tandaan ninyo, ngala-ngala rin ang anak ninyo ang ihigop ng maruming usok ng jeep. So the next generation also will suffer. No? And most of these are their children also. So we must adapt to innovation. No? But I don't like jeepney to be out of okay lang ako dyan. Makapaghanap buhay sila, disiplinado sila. Pero sana malinis din ang usok at ng kanilang binubuga ng kanilang mga makina. Kasi minsan, alam mo naman, hindi mo naman masasabi talaga, Ellen, minsan talaga naman meron talagang makulit na hindi i-maintain yung kanyang jeep. Sinisave niya yung pera at the expense of the general public. So we must regulate it properly.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, all right. Barnaby Lowe from CBS, Barnes.
Good afternoon, Yorme.
Hi, Barn.
Meron tayong interview bukas, kaya isa lang yung itatanong ko sa inyo. Actually, isa lang sana itatanong ko sa inyo, pero minention nyo kasi yung ayuda sa jeepney drivers. Mamaya, babalik ako doon sa tanong ko tungkol doon sa white sand. Sorry di pa tayo tapos
It's okay. It's okay.
Kaya lang yung ayuda kasi sa jeepney drivers, gusto kong itanong. Kasi gumawa ako ng storya sa mga jeepney drivers na nandilimos doon sa Avenida. Ang
Yes.
sabi nila sa akin, wala daw silang natatanggap na ayuda kahit piso simula pa nung March. So, hindi ko naman sinasabi na wala kayong ayuda sa jeepney drivers, pero as a mayor, I guess hindi nyo naman kaya i-monitor lahat.
Oh.
Yes.
Ang good news, no? It was quantified. No? Ganito yan, ano? Nangyari yan, siyempre ako naman, ang obligasyon ko, yung mga jeepney driver na nakapaloob at nakatira sa lungsod ng Maynila. Sabi nga, paano ka naman magiging mabisa sa kapitbahay mo, sa loob ng bahay mo? Paano ka naman? Irresponsable. So we took care of them. And you can ask the leaders of this organization. Tapos nagulat nga ako dyan alam mo Barn, dumami pa yung organisasyon yan. Dati Pasang Mazda, Pedudap. Meron pa ngayon, stop and go. Stop and go. Basta ang dami, tas Pandakan, and so on and so forth. Hindi lang namin sila binigyan ng cash, meron pa silang bigas. 5 times kaming nakapagbigay sa kanila. But, this is not a perfect government. He said, she said, but what matter most, I think, generally, in our own little way, tumulong. At minention yan, I think it was in ABS-CBN for so many times. They were interviewed. Lagi nila pinasasalamatan ni Manila. I think their issue is, alam mo yung sasap, Barnes,
yes.
Feeling ko, hindi sila nakatanggap agad-agad. Kasi, imbis na kasama sila sa regular SAP, which in-include namin sila, they were delisted. Kasi sabi, LTFRB na ang magbibigay sa mga jeepney driver. Ang problema doon, alam mo, pag sinabi mong LTFRB na, tama naman, Tama naman. Ibig sabihin, LTFRB pag nakarehistro ka. Paano kung jeepney driver ka na medyo hindi ka masyadong sumusunod sa batas? Medyo hindi ka nakarehistro. Wala kang prangkisa. Pero you're a jeepney driver. No? At sigurado ako, mapapariwara yun. Kaya kami, makikita mo yung aming kakaf, yung version namin ng SAF. It was delivered twice. Alam mo, ang ginawa namin doon, general public yun. Mahirap, middle class, mayaman. Kasi nga, hindi mo maka-quantify Mahirap ikwenta kung sino mabibigyan o hindi. Pero kung min-maximize mo yung reach, so chances are, marireach mo lahat. No? But be that as it may, we saw that picture and I was worried. Totoo yun, nakita ko yung picture. I think it was a Philippine Star who took that picture and I saw it. Sabi ko, ano to? Ba't naman malimos? Sabi ko, tingnan nyo nga kung taga sa atin. Ito na, mayroon akong konting side story doon. They crossed the boundary. Yung iba kasi, hindi namin nabigyan. Dala na nung nagkakabilangan na, hindi sila nauwi sa Maynila Okay. They are in the adjacent city. Kaya hindi sila napabilang. But how I wish we could help them. And given a chance naman, pinipilit naman natin.
Sorry, Avenida, napakaluma ko talaga. Rizal Avenue pala.
Rizal Avenue.
sorry. Tanda na Avenida talaga. Yeah, I guess mahaba yung Avenida kasama yung Caloocan, pero yung part kasi na pinuntahan ko, part talaga ng Manila. Anyway, Mayor, I understand your answer. Yung balik lang po dun sa white sand sana. So, the health hazard is one issue. Pero environmentalists kasi are also pointing out na tatabunan din naman yung white sand na yan kalaunan kasi binabagyo dyan, nagsustorm surge dyan, tapos maraming basura na pag nag-storm surge, inaanod yung basura tapos yung natural niyang black sand, lilitaw din daw. So ano yung masasabi niyo doon?
Well, sabi raw ng DNR, meron daw sila nilagay mga engineering works. I think that's the best agency to ask, no? Pero may tanong kaya ako, paano kaya kung black sand yung nilagay? May issue kaya?
Ayan ang...
Kasi hindi ko nga makuha yung point eh. Kasi tingnan mo, ang sand, ang gravel, sand, may silika. Di ba, ang silika, bawal din yan mainil. Ang tawag dito, yung semento, bawal din yan mainil. Kailangan mo ng protect. Mas lalo nga semento eh. So, kaya ayaw ko kasing iligaw. Gusto ko talagang mag-focus tayo. Kung may mali sila, papanagutin natin sila. I don't mind. I don't care. Wala namang holy cow sa atin dyan. No? Pero ako, very pragmatic yung akin lang na, teka, nakita nyo ba yung STP na ginagawa? But nakapokus tayo doon sa isang bagay na hindi pa naman proven na masama. So, yun yung point ko doon. But, as again and again, umasa kayo, mga manunood, mga kababayan. Kapag ito'y may health hazard sa tao, no? Kakasiguhin ko naman yung mga. May dala rin naman akong latigo. While we are grateful, at the same time, we are protectful of our people. Kasi nasa health pandemic, nasa health emergency na nga tayo because of the pandemic. Tapos error na naman yung isa. So, it's just that I'm trying to put it in right perspective. Ngayon, kung may kapabayaan talaga, katulad yung tanong mo, halimbawa, inubos din ng anod. Ngayon, di magmumukha silang katawa-tawa. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, we'll pause quickly and allow someone from the local press to ask a question.
Me, Aricel.
Oh, yeah. Is it okay if we allow Christian Esguerra from ABS-CBN ANC to ask a question before we proceed with you?
Okay. No problem. That's okay.
Thanks, Aricel. Thank you. Christian, you can ask a question.
Thank you, Aricel. Thank you, Jamela. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Follow up lang. Were you consulted or the Manila government? Was it ever consulted by the DNR before they pushed through with the White Sand project? Or nagulat lang, nalaman nyo lang din to sa media?
Okay. One, I assume office July 1, 2019. And the the decision of the Mandamo's decision came before that. No? And a plan was made before I assumed. A plan by DNR. No? So when I was informed, sir, maglalagay kami ng STP para yung tubig. Kasi ang Manila also, the city government, kami, violator din kami ng maduming tubig na ibinabato dyan. Kasi yung Manila Zoo, walang STP. No? Kaya pinasara ko ang Manila Zoo talagang. But anyway, noong sinabi, lalagyan, tapos pinakita yung tubo, at hanggang saan yung tubo, tapos maglalagay ng buhangin. Yun, maglalagay ng buhangin para lumapad yung beach front. They call it the beach front. At saka, gusto ko lang itama, Christian, wala pong ginagawang beach. Dati na pong may beach yan. Kung talagang taga Maynila kayo, or kaya ask your dad or your lolo, it's already a beach beforehand. Dumumi lang yan, dumugyot lang yan, at naging puro tae na lang yan ng tao through the years dahil sa kapabayaan ng gobyerno katulad namin na City of Manila and all other government and private companies and residents. Now it's being addressed. So that's why sabi ko, thank you very much. O hindi na kami totosgas dyan, sabi ko kay Sekretaryo. So we were consulted in that way. Now, when it became White Sand, ang presumption is DNR knows it very well that they're putting things or creating things in the body of water that will not harm the ecological system, or including if there is fish in the area or other tawag dyan, mga kung ano man yung lamang isda, ay lamang dagat, no? O marine life, no? Because they know it very well. Because they are the one, the agency who are tasked to take care of our environment. So, ang tingin mo, kahit sinong maliwanag pa sa sikat ng araw, papangalagaan nila. But, doon talaga ako nakapokus, doon sa yung sewerage treatment. Dahil, that will address. Ngayon, madumi ang di ba? Ang taas ng, ang tawag dyan, yung, lagi ko nakakalimutan yung mikrobyo nung lugar. Naturally, with that, titino yan. Plus, we no, in our own little way. Hospital ng Manila, magkakaroon ng STP. Manila Zoo, magkakaroon ng STP. This is the same creek towards Ross Boulevard. So, makatutulong din in our own little way. Plus, hindi rin maitakaila, no, Christian. July 1 o 2019, day 1, pinupulot na namin yung basura dyan. Hindi na nga kami nagtuturo kung kaninong basura yun. But we know for a fact that waves is coming in Manila, inland, no, from Corregidor. So, kaya makikita mo dyan mga net, mga saklag, mga baklag, o mga kawayan, o styro, plastic, and so on and so forth. So, but be that as it may, lumanding sa amin, ay pinupulot na lang namin, not to point fingers, just to clean up the solid waste sa Manila Bay, including Baseco in our creeks.
All right. Next question will be coming from Aricel. Go ahead.
Mayor, dalawang clarificatory questions lang, sir.
Sure.
Based on your presentation, you have been able to thwart the COVID infection on target. To whom would you attribute the success rate of the COVID management? Like, would you say na medical team and epidemiologists? Kasi it seems that you're able to mitigate the spread of the virus spot on. And then my second question is, would you say that your method of contact tracing is very effective as well?
Okay, una, gusto ko lang liwanagin wala pa ho kami success. Meron pa rin ng COVID.
Yeah, pero at least you were able to pass through insurmountable.
Kasi ayoko lang baka sabihin ng mga viewers, uy, alaga, huwag na tayo mag-mask. Okay na sa Maynila, gora na. Baka sa mga manunood, may panganib. Pero with that question, okay, I attribute it to our medical frontliners, our medical institution, and the people of Manila. Kasi behavioral to I think one of the challenges in this pandemic, it's the people. On how are you going to change the mindset of the people to do differently the way what they're doing every day. Yung, alam mo yung change of habits, medyo, yun nako, Diyos ko talaga, very challenging yun. And talking to 2.4 million people in nighttime and about 3 million daytime, it's quite a challenge. So I attribute it to the people. Kasi kami naman, pangarap, plano, tupad. Pangarap, plano, tupad. Pangarap, plano, tupad. Or ganun kami. Then may participasyon, siyempre, yung medical frontliners namin talaga doon. Sa MHD, mga doktor namin, mga BHW namin, and the people. Kasi talagang, malaki talaga ako, I may be wrong. Malaking partisipasyon ng tao, yung kanyang behavior everyday. Second, ano yung pangalawang tanong mo? Sorry
Yung contact tracing, your method of contact tracing is effective po ba?
I think maraming ganito. Hindi kasi pwedeng magkaroon ng pare-parehong contact tracing approach. Dahil iba-iba ang demographics, iba-iba yung laman ng komunidad, yung density and economic situation ng lugar. Halimbawa, let's just say, I cannot do, kung anong ginagawa kong contact tracing sa Parola, I cannot do it the same manner in, ano ba yung subdivision sa kanto ng EDSA? Ortigas? Corinthian. No. Hindi ko magagawa yun doon. Magkaiba yun Kasi iba yung itsura ng bahay, iba yung distansya ng bahay, medyo secluded. So, I think every LGU has its own way of contact tracing. Pero ang sa amin lamang, hanggat maaari, ito kasi mas medyo conservative lang kami talaga. Pag nagpositibo ka, karga kita kagad sa Kung ikaw asymptomatic, ikarga kita kagad sa quarantine facility. In fact, and let me add to that, alam mo ba na yung quarantine facility namin, it started a quarantine facility to those people awaiting for results. Remember, there was a time, 5 days, 7 days, my God, yung resulta ng RT-PCR, naalala niyo yung mga panahon na yun? So we have to house them. Now, as we progress, nagkaroon kami ng quarantine facility sa, ewan ko kung na-mention ko to kanina, yung nagkaroon kami ng quarantine facility for asymptomatic person. Nagkaroon kami ng quarantine facility for with precondition like mga dialysis person, nagda-dialysis na positive, meron kami. Pregnant women, meron kami sa kanila, and so on and so forth. So marami siyang attribute. Ang good news lang talaga, ito, I have naman to be fair with you, just to be honest. Out of 2.4, the most dense city in the world, at 9,000 accumulative, at 880 still active, medyo magandang numero, medyo komportable, pero hindi pwedeng pabayaan. We must pursue, we must continue. Whatever we have started and whatever we're going to do, we must pursue and we must be consistent. Marami siya, mga empleyado. So, I cannot do it alone, sort of saying.
Maricel, you okay?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Jam.
Thank you.
We'll now call one of the last questions will be coming, most likely our last, from Jerome of Reuters.
Hi, Jerome.
Hello, good afternoon, Mayor. Thank you for joining this Focap event po. Mayor, on the side of economic side naman po, yung economic managers natin are saying that Q2 second quarter is the worst already, and then they expect big recovery next year. We just like to get an indication from the ground up po, from the ground sa inyo. Given NCR is 40% of the economy, and then of course Manila, sa capital city, is a big contributor to that. How do you see the economic recovery po dyan sa Manila? Do you see U-turn, U-shape ba, V-shape recovery, and ano yung main factors that will bring this recovery po for Manila? Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Jerome. One, I am no economist. No, I cannot say a factual or can be a basis. My statement can be a basis of future results of our economic situation. But having said that, basic yung nalalaan ko. Kapag maraming gumagawa ng kalamay, nakapagtitinda ng lugaw, karinderya, bukas na tindahan, gulay, at mga clothing stores at bumibili ang tao, it generate more jobs and generate more sales. Then if that thing umiikot, ang asukal na bibili sa probinsya, ang bigas na bibili sa probinsya, ang isda and so on and so forth, at may pera ang tao, that is what you call may ekonomiya. Kung gaano kalaki ang epekto nun sa national perspective is another thing which I cannot answer. But kami talaga, we are pushing literally. Yung alam mong takot kami sa COVID-19, takot ka rin sa COVID-19, pero ayaw mo na lang mabuhay ng puro takot. Yung kaharapin na lang, let's open business, continue opening business gradually, maybe weekly, daily, so that there will be movement. And naturally, if I'm an optimistic guy, you know naman, Jerome, where I came from. I came from nothing. And I'm appreciative of anything that moves upward. No? Kaya nakakatuwa na may nangyayaring gano'n at nagbubukas ngayon ng maraming negosyo. Including, dumating tuloy, alam mo isang lesson learned about economy.
Yes.
Isang lesson learned na nakita ko, no? Alam mo, nag-evolve ang tao. Yung mga utaw, bigla naging negosyante. Yung work from home, nagbenta, gumawa ng kanilang mga skills, and so on and so forth. This is one good lesson, one for the book to be studied, that in times of adversity, nag-evolve ang tao, nag-adapt ang tao. So, naturally, if we are below, I don't know, I cannot answer to that. If we are below here, and then there's no way but to go up. Yun ang ano ko doon, mindset. But it will not go up on its own. We policymaker, implementers, government official should come up with ideas and concepts to stimulate the economic movement and help the national government's goal, no, and directives. So pag yung 1,600 municipalities and cities in the country will do the same thing and in synchrony, so one way or another, matter of time, maybe earlier, then we'll go back to our own feet, if I may put that in right perspective.
I see. So we've seen the worst, Mayor.
Yeah, I think so. What is worse than living in fear? More than the economic. I think that's the worst thing that can happen to us. Biri mo, akalain mo, nagpagawa ka ng 4 na kanto ng bahay mo, sinimento mo, inayos mo garden, hindi mo malabasan, hindi mo, you've been thriving every day to save money, to develop yourself economically, di ba? Then all of a sudden, hindi mo ma-enjoy. I think that's the worst thing that we have already. No? Kaya tingin ko, wala naman itong tutunguhan, kundi pataas. But again and again, let us not wait. We in the government. It's not the people. No? Let us not wait. Hindi, gaganda rin yan. No, we must do small steps, efforts, but it's simultaneous. It has to be in synchrony. No? That's why we in Metro Manila, napansin mo kaming mga Metro Manila mayors, in fairness to my colleagues, no? Pag nag-desisyon kami mag-open ng ganito, ino-open namin lahat. Pag sinabi namin, adjust natin 10 o'clock, adjust namin 10 o'clock. Pag sinabi namin, yung mga gym, mga ganitong restaurant, napansin mo, nag-ano kami, we are in sync because we wanted to show to other LGUs that we, kahit na tayo ay iba't ibang jurisdiction, we can work in synchrony and in harmony to help the economy.
Thank you, Mayor.
Mayor, thank you. A last question now.
Sure.
Wrap up po, will be coming from the Bureau Chief of Associated Press, Jim Gomez of Associated Press.
Hi, Jim. Where are you?
Jim, are you there? I think.
Ayun, Jim.
Wait lang. Can you
Jim?
hear me?
Jim.
On.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Mayor, can you hear me po?
Opo, medyo mahina lang pero I can hear you.
Magandang hapon, Mayor.
Hi, Jim. Magandang hapon sa iyo.
No. Mayor, many people took notice, no, when you ordered the closure of those Chinese stores selling products, with that marking, no, Manila, province of China. So, relatedly, there is this project in that's an LGU and a national issue as well, no. There is this airport project in Sangli that the Cavite governor approved of. And it became controversial because the Chinese company involved was blacklisted by the US for its involvement in the island construction of China in the South China Sea. So I won't ask your stand on that airport project, no, because there's another LGU leader involved. But I will ask you.
Thank you, Jim. You saved my day.
Put you on the spot, yeah. But I will ask you if any of those Chinese companies blacklisted by the US for their involvement in constructing those artificial islands in the South China Sea, if any of those Chinese companies, will you allow any of those Chinese companies, hypothetically, to get involved in any infrastructure projects in Manila?
Okay. Kung ang magkokontrata, lokal na pamahalaan, kami. No?
Yes.
Of course, I will deal with a company with good standing, immaterial of their nationality. No? I will not deal with those companies with bad backgrounds or merong mga may mga responsibilidad na hindi ginawa. No? Why would you expose your local government unit to that particular company? Theoretically speaking, no? So I will do my due diligence. Kung ako ang makikipagkontrata as a city government, kasi Kasi ang trabaho ko, Jim, is to protect the interest, the general welfare of the people of Manila. Katulad yung nabanggit mo kanina, di ba? Yung sa ano, yung sa produkto, di ba? Interest ng Maynila yun eh. Pero mo tawagin ba naman kami province of China? O hindi. Kaya kahit sa mukhang nasyonal, hindi, it's a local issue. We will not allow it. No, more so with if there will be findings to this corporation na medyo unscrupulous and you're gonna deal with it, alam mo may kasabihan eh, for evil to succeed is for good men to do nothing. Hindi naman natin basta papayagan yun. But immaterial of their nationality. Whether they are Americans, Chinese, Europeans, kapag sila may mga bad records, no? Hindi naman natin pwedeng kontratahin yun. Kailangan doon na tayo sa may ligtas. Dahil pag ligtas, kapakinabangan ng taong bayan yun. Dahil ang salaping ibabayad natin sa mga kontratistang yan, na iuwi sa kanilang bansa, yung income na yan, pera ng taong bayan yun eh. Due diligence must be observed, sort of saying.
Yung issue ata yung there are very specific Chinese companies that were blacklisted by the US, no? Not for any like crime in the Philippines, but for their involvement in the construction of those artificial islands in the disputed South China Sea. Will you allow any of those specific companies, no? Now, I don't think it's not clear whether they have, bad records in the Philippines, but the issue is their involvement in the South China Sea island action. Would you deal with them? Would you allow them to get involved in any infra project in Manila?
Okay. If they did not violate any provisions of our law, no, doing business in the country, why not? Di ba? Philippine law must prevail always. We are a sovereign country. But sabi nga, yung due diligence, pagsisiyasat, lalo na kung ang pag-uusapan natin, halimbawa lang, Jim, no? Billions of dollars. Diba? Tapos pag masakit pa niyan, Jim, pag na-sovereign guarantee pa yan, for example, di ba? O talagang tiyak na babayaran. So, kailangan maobserbahan natin yon. At saka para hindi tayo na lalagay sa alanganin. Di ba? Yun ang akin. Philippine law must prevail. Basta wala silang ginawang kasalanan sa Pilipinas. Wala silang kasalanan sa mata ng batas natin. At sila ay maaaring makapaghanap buhay. Ngayon, kung halimbawa may kasalanan sila sa mundo, sa ibang bahagi ng mundo, meron silang tawag ito, kasaysayang masama. Halimbawa, let's just say, may ginawa silang kumpanya sa Africa, masama ang ginawa nila doon, bad record sila, o sa Amerika, may ginawa silang bad record, o sa Latin America, or anywhere in the world. This must be take into consideration as a matter of practicing due diligence. Di ba? Marami namang kumpanyang pwedeng gumawa. Sort of saying.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. All right. I think that wraps up our forum today. A lot of
Pero Jim, I will assure you, I will not allow it, yung pagtitinda ng product na merong yung tawag yan? Ano daw? Province of China. Kung tugkulo nyo Manila ito, Philippines.
Mayor, were you able to figure out kung sino yung nag-produce nun?
Ayun, nagpapaliwanag sila doon sa BID. Pinade-deport ko sila. They are not welcome in Manila. Because 2 out of 5 are foreign national. They should go back to their respective country. I don't like him here. With all honesty, I really got offended about it. And I think the people of Manila is offended also. Feel the same way. No? This should not be... ito yung bagay na hindi pwedeng palulusutin talaga. Kasi uunti-untiin lang tayo ng mga yan. And before we know it, baka mamaya nandiyan na sa Pasig River. May sarili na silang island dyan. Magulat tayo pare-pareho. Yun ang ayoko mangyari, huli na lahat. Basta dito, welcome lahat Don't get me wrong. All nationals, all over the world, you are welcome to Manila. No harm will come to you. We are certain about our rules, our laws. We will protect you. But at the same manner, love begets love. No? So, pagka kayo nagdinegosyo dito, you respect our own laws, traditions, and culture. You live among us. You should live within our, you should follow the same way what we do when we go to your country. So, yun ang lagi kong concept. I think that is only fair to anybody. Di ba? I mean, fair naman yan kahit kaninong nationality. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so that's possibly the last question from members of the foreign press and the local press. Mayor, we'd like to thank you, but one last question from me. I'm
Sure.
just very curious, and a lot of people would like to know, your name is generating a lot of buzz since you took office. Would you consider running for higher office in 2022? And is it something that you've thought of? People approached you, possibly?
Ano pa ba ang higher sa mayor? Maximum na tong city. Di? Sayang, walang governor
National?
ng Metro Manila.
About a national seat, like
Okay.
possibly.
Sige, ayoko naman mambola sa iyo, Jamela. At saka, kayo naman, mga antigon journalist na rin naman kayo. But, I mean, there's no point to lie. Okay, I have to be honest. Alam mo, lalahatin ko. Simula kagawad ng barangay, kagawad ng LGU o kusihal, vice mayor, mayor, governor, congressman, lahat yan gusto maging presidente. Lahat kami. Mami na tayo pare-pareho. Ano na yan once na pinasok mo yung public service, iba nga hindi pa na-elect na-appoint lang, gusto na mag-presidente rin Di ba? Kumbaga lahat yan, basta pumasok ka sa gobyerno. Because that's the maximum. And I think it's quite fair to anybody to dream to be the president. Pero sa akin kasi, akong gusto ko, may pandemya ngayon Hindi ba dapat ang focus naming lahat, kung sino man yung mga nag-aasam dyan sa ibabaw, ang focus tutukan tong pandemya. So, ako, I would rather focus on this. I'm grateful if they are considering me. Thank you. It's an honor. No? Thank you for a young person like me to be considered katulad ng mga tinatanong ninyo. Thank you very much. But for now, let me do my job. I owe it to the people of Manila. I owe them a lot. I'm gonna do my thing, the best of my ability to give a better service for the city of Manila. Then let the natural course of life, because destiny yan Lahat na nagplano niyan, natalo. Lalo na yung mga naging atat, natalo rin. Naalala mo yung mga nagmadali? Maraming ganyan. Kaya hindi yan kusang dumarating yan sa katao nagbibigay dyan. But again and again, it is in the back of our mind. I'm being honest to you. Lahat kaming politiko. Nasa likod ng utak namin yan. But for now, ako talaga, tirahin ko muna tong pandemya. Sana makaraos tayo. Kaya pag dumako kayo sa Maynila, wala na kayong kaba, panatag na ang lahat. Then we talk politics a few months before 2022. Kasi people, I think, people will remember, where were you in this time of crisis? Tingin ko, the people will not forget this thing. And because napakahirap ng sitwasyon. So, I think that is an honest answer to your question. The best, yun lang pwede kong masabi for now.
Pero, Mayor, you haven't answered one question. Which national post would you most likely consider? Is it the Senate, the VP? I mean, if ever, like you said, it's at the back of your mind.
President, di ba?
Okay.
Di ba yun yung maximum? I mean, as a general rule, lahat gusto maging presidente. Okay. Kapag nasa gobyerno ka na, lahat yan, papangarapin na yan, elected office, mga kabinete, lahat yan, siyempre, gusto rin naman niya maging presidente at makapaglingkod sa buong Pilipinas. Di ba? Sabi nga, di ba nakasabihan, aim for the moon. Anyway, if you miss, you're going to land with among the stars. At least, yun yung aking, hindi naman kayo iba sa akin, at least makita nyo na isa loobin ko. At tingin ko yun din naman ng nasa isip ng ibang politiko.
Okay. Pero Mayor, to clarify, hindi kami ganun ka-antigo. I mean, We're still relatively young.
Ano, hindi, ibig ko lang sabihin,
Mas-
mga battle-tested na kayo.
Ayun.
Ang dami na nakausap na politiko. Konting kibot pa lang, alam nyo na kung nambobola eh. Ayoko naman mambola sa inyo. Kaya as a general rule, ayun naman talaga ang pangarap ng bawat politiko. One way or another at the back of their mind. Basta ngayon focus muna ako sa pandemic. Medyo antigo ka na rin.
No comment ako dyan. Battle-hardened. I prefer battle-hardened.
Ayo, battle-hardened.
Sige. Mayor, would like to thank you for your time. Maraming salamat for talking to us. We've been looking forward to having you here for a while. Thank you, Ule. We wish you the best. Thank you din kay Manoy Cesar. Thank you, Manoy, for helping us get Mayor Isko. And we wish you the best of luck. To members of Focap, we're going to have a recorded copy of this video. So if you want it, you just reach out to us through our secretariat. And take care, everyone. Stay vigilant. Mayor, salamat po ulit.
Thank you sa inyo. Mag-iingat kayo. At may awa ang Diyos, makakaraos din tayo. And thank you for this opportunity. It's my first time with Focap. I hope there will be second.
There will be for sure.